contagious.
Welcome back, everyone. A new study out this week shows evidence of long-term brain damage in 99% of former NFL players that were studied. Families of some former football players donated their brains for research at Boston University. Researchers found 91% of former college players and 99% of NFL athletes tested had evidence of CTE. Most players with severe disease suffered from mood disorders and showed symptoms of dementia before their death. Many even committed suicide. Now, our medical contributor, Dr. Kasraeian, is still with us for this one. And so these results are really, really eye-opening. What do you think?
Absolutely, and they confirm, previous results, so they add to the data from this aspect. And one thing to kind of be mindful, we've heard a lot in the world of the NFL particular in terms of concussions, where you have a head trauma and that's causing a brain injury that needs to heal. And now there's amazing movement from, I played fairly competitive soccer all growing up. If we got hit or had a header or something like that and we're down, kind of got back in the game. Now even at the high school level and at the junior sports levels, the amount of protection of people that have potential head injuries is profound, and that's impactful. Here, this study was 202 men who their brains were donated to be evaluation. And one potential confounding factor is that obviously the families were concerned enough about the possibility of CTE that they donated the brains for evaluation. So it wasn't every football player that ever passed away. So people are worried that the
results could be a little skewed because these families were concerned and donated.
But if you look at this, they had 202 patients, 110 out of the 111 NFL players had evidence of CTE. Wow. 3 out of the 14 high school students and 48 out of the 53 college students did it.
Oh my God, that's too much.
How quickly do the symptoms show up, though?
So it's variable, so it's interesting. So when they look at this, with the people that, like you mentioned, they can have mood disorders, they can have confusion, they can have memory issues, like dementia from that. This was originally described in 1928 with boxers, where they would kind of speak funny or things of that nature, and it kind of moved. Now we're studying it more elegantly to find more detail. What happens with this, when they look under the microscope, they find a buildup of this protein tau, and that's associated with a breakdown of the pathways of normal brain function. And depending on the severity of your symptoms with the association with how much of this stuff they see, they're trying to go back now and analyze the relationship between what they find pathologically with the clinical symptoms that they had before. Because this is, unfortunately, at this point, a post-mortem diagnosis when you look at the brain. So it's not something where you show up and you have memory changes after playing football and they say, oh, you have CTE. So
how does that make you feel as a mom?
My ex-husband played ball. He's retired now. And, my son, everybody just assumes he's going to play football because of his dad. And it's so funny. I couldn't understand for the life of me why my ex-husband and all of his player friends was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I was like, what? Put him in basketball, put him in soccer, put him in lacrosse, I don't care.
So they knew.
Keep him up. Yeah. And I realized, I think that's why they were all so adamant that no. So.
And especially because now we know that, obviously, like you said, it's post-mortem. You don't know if you have CTE until after you're
And one
dead.
thing that's important, this has been related to other sports as well. Veterans have been associated with similar findings, soccer players, baseball players. So this is probably going to expand as we get a better understanding of the relationship with what you find pathologically with what you find in the symptoms beforehand. And kind of think of it, of your brain as kind of like an egg. And various different mediums have made this analogy where your brain's like the yolk and your skull is like the shell. And so when the egg shakes, it can potentially damage the yolk. It doesn't keep it from moving around. So when you wear a helmet, it doesn't matter how much the thickness of the shell is, it doesn't protect that shaking movement. It's those repeated subconcussive trauma that they're associating more with this than not. The other thing to keep in mind, what you were saying with not playing, this isn't saying that 99% of people who play football are going to get CTE. This is basically saying of the people that were analyzed, there was a significant amount of, like profound, 99% of the people in the NFL were found with this. And then to the NFL's credit, they came out in 2015, 16, evaluated this, made a comment about the association, and they get, more than $100 to $200 million in terms of research towards this and other neurosciences to try to improve the outcome of NFL players through their life.
Yeah, changing helmet designs or things like that. So yeah, I mean, as sad as this information is, hopefully it will spark it so it's not such a problem further down the road.
I know that movie Concussion that Will Smith was in caused a lot of controversy. As a medical professional, did you agree with that movie?
Well, if you look at it, it's the beauty of science. The science, is scrutinized. You can see what he went through for people to accept that, and then perseverance and persistence with the medical professionals to fight for their patients. And in terms of the pathologist who found this, he fought for his patients post-mortem, you know, and that's one of the most beautiful tellings from a medical professional looking at that fight. It's important for us to now be responsible in how we approach, we take this information and apply it to our daily lives, because we have to put in the totality of how we live our life.
Right. Is there any like level of concussions where, okay, you've had enough, you need to stop now?
Absolutely. So with that, if someone has any kind of head trauma now, it's evaluated to make sure if there's any kind of impacts, and people are actually taken out of the game and evaluated, and based on very stringent evaluations, depending on where you fit on that evaluation is whether when you can potentially come back to play. So the world has changed in terms of how you evaluate.
Back out there,
especially with high school students.
Some ibuprofen and said, okay, get back out there.
That's the old school.
And that's
right.
And the players need to be mindful of it, because as players we always want to get back in, but sometimes the juice is not worth the squeeze. You got to be mindful. Right. You know.
Yeah, my son will be playing lacrosse.
Well, that's the thing, is that because as far as I know, lacrosse is also a contact sport. Is there any sport that's like a little safer?
Sports that don't have potential for trauma. You know,
what sport is that?
Tennis.
You get hit in the head with a tennis ball. You see the ball boys or the ball girls getting.
You're not going to get a concussion.
Swimming.
Listen, those serves are hard.
Ping pong.
Again, we have to take this information with moderation and take it with our life from that standpoint. So you have to be very, very careful in terms of making mass recommendation for every sport that could potentially have an issue, because no one's going to participate in sports. Sports are beautiful things that impact our lives, and it helps children grow in being part of team sports and things of that nature, but you have to balance it with the safety of findings like this, and hopefully we and the coaches and the parents can use this information to be safer in whatever sport you choose to play.
Yeah, and you're definitely seeing it little by little in high school sports. They're being a lot more stringent about if you have a concussion, you sit out, and they definitely evaluate you. So there is some good. I guess we don't have to be terrified of team sports. That makes sense. Well, thank you, Dr. Ali Kasraeian, as always, for coming. And this medical contribution was furnished by Kasraeian Urology. And you can hear more from Dr. Kasraeian on his weekend radio show, The Conversation, Saturdays on WOKV from 5 to 6 p.m. And coming up next, taking a stand to close the gap when it comes to not only gender, but race as well. Find out how you can take part when we come back.